what is happening in 2020. We started 2020 with power and with force. I said this year is going to be a great year. It's a year of abundance. Those that are under my sonship, those that are under my administration, those that are under my mentorship, this is a year of abundance. As you're hearing me, you know what I'm talking about. I've got sons all over the world. I've got thousands of them, thousands of sons all over the world. And I think that those my sons are doing great things. And I want to tell you something. If you have not yet gotten that book, make sure you get that book, Prophecy, Dreams and Vision. It's going to transform your life. And I'm going to be talking about some of these things that are happening. And I've seen a lot of people that have asked the question, where are the wise men? What happened to the wise men? What happened to TB Joshua's wise men? What happened to them? And where are they now? What are they doing? What is going on? People want to know what is going on. Were they removed? Were they having problems? Were they having issues? Listen, I'm going to tell about what happened. I'm going to show you in some of the videos right now, some of the things I've gotten from the realm of the spirit. But I'm also going to show you some of the videos of what they're doing. But let me tell you something. That ministry, Prophet TB Joshua's ministry. God has blessed that ministry. And there's something that you need to understand about that ministry. That ministry was founded by God. So God has blessed that ministry. It's a ministry that God has blessed. And it means that the people that left the ministry were not having any problem. So those wise men that you see that left the ministry, doesn't mean they were having any problem. I'm going to prophesy. I'm going to say what actually happened to them in a bit. And you're going to listen to exactly what actually happened to them and where are they. And I'm going to show you some of the clips that I've gotten on where are they, what are they doing, and what is happening, why did they leave, and I'm going to tell you what is happening. Now, if you've not gotten that book, get that book, Prophecy, Dreams and Vision. I'm just looking at some of the prophecies that I've been sending all over the world, and some of you, if you want dreams, write to me. I'm going to interpret your dreams for you. Let me tell you what dreams are. Dreams is like a letter that someone has given you and you cannot read. That's what dreams are. It's like you've been waiting for a job, you've applied for a job, you waited for a letter, and somebody gives you a letter, and that letter is written in Mandarin, or it's written in German language, and you don't understand that letter. That's what dreams are. So you need to take that letter to a person that can interpret that letter for you and tell you what is in that letter. A dream that is not interpreted is an opportunity that's missed. Every dream that's not interpreted is an opportunity. Dreams have got many implications. They've got warning in your life. They've got action for you to take. Some of dreams are opportunities in front of you that tell you this is an opportunity. So as your soul journeys in the night, every night for 8 hours, your soul, the portion of your soul, it's a portion of your soul that leaves your body, and it's a huge portion. It goes to the different realms. There's a realm, there's a realm of angels, there's a realm of God. It goes to that realm that is called the highest realm, called the realm of truth. When you go to that realm, your soul goes there, it gets information. As your soul starts to journey through the various realms, it recharges and then it gets information. Two things happen. It gets information from the spirit of God, it gets information from the spirit of man. Sometimes it gets it from angels and demonic spirits. So they pump information. And demons, when they communicate to your soul, they don't know who they're talking to. So they're making plans about your life and they're telling you in your dream, and you don't know that they're making plans to kill you. That's why the people have written to me and say, I see a dream that I was dying. I see a dream that I was being killed. I was being chased. I wanted to be killed. Why? Those demons, they say that particular demons that are called angel of death. Those angel of death, when they want to walk around, they communicate. They plan who are going to kill. They move from places to places to plan are going to kill. And when you know them, they communicate to you through dreams. You come to a man who got to interpret for you. That's why it's important that your dreams are interpreted. If your dreams are not correctly interpreted, you may die. A dream may be giving you wrong information. The dream may be saying, go there, you are instead going that way. They may go that way, you lose. So that's right to me. Because the interpretation of your dream gives life to that dream. Now, what is the difference between a dream and a prophecy? A dream is an information that God has given you for you to get interpreted by through a prophet. The prophet has the gift of interpretation of dreams. I've got that gift of interpretation of dreams. Now, a prophecy is the same as a dream. Meaning that God can give you that information through a dream and you come to me and I interpret it for you. Or you can come to me and I tell you what is going to happen to you directly through prophecy. That's why it's important. What you see in the night dreaming, a prophet sees in the day standing. That's the difference. What you see in the night dreaming, a prophet sees in. And most people want their dreams interpreted because it's more assuring. Because if the dream is coming for you, it's more assuring. So I prophesied to a lot of people now. I prophesied to this person, Johanna, and Johanna was saying, "Wow, I was telling Johanna, we went through a lot of pain." She was saying, "This is true." You say it's true. I'm looking at him. Johanna was writing. I see some of my daughters are writing. I talk about this man Chipucha. I talk about something holding the finances. He was saying to me, "Yes, man of God, you are true. You are 100% correct. I don't know where it's happening with my money." She says, "My money has been disappearing. I don't know what's happening." One person writing to me, he says to me, he says his confirmation. He says your prophecy is confirmation. So what is it? He says, what you have told me is a confirmation. My goodness, it's a confirmation. I wrote to this man in London. I told him, man, I said, listen, you leave. I see to a place. I called up. I says, listen, Francis, like a town, Francis. And Emmanuel responds. He says, listen. He says, it is true about Francis Town. He says, I have a court case in Francis Town. I said, I heard that. I was hearing that name, Francis. The moment I start to reply to your email, the angel start to speak to me in my ears. I start to play sounds. I said, I hear this person. I said, Francis, my goodness. And I've written to most of my sons. I've written to them. I see them a lot. I mean, if you get that book, Prophecy, Dreams, and Vision, get that book, Prophecy, Dreams, and Vision, your life will not be the same again. Things are going to be transformed in your life. One man wrote to me, he says, prophecy, he says, you are a true eye of the scorpion. This person will say, you have the true eye of the scorpion. My God. One man wrote to me, I told her about the business, I prophesied about his business. He says 100% true. He said, what you have told me is 100% true. How do I prophesy to a person I've never met? It's a different kind of gift. There are different types of prophets. I told you I'm a modern day prophet. A modern day prophet doesn't need to meet you to prophesy to you. A modern day prophet just needs to stand and just hear in the realm of the spirit. The moment they call your name, you say, this is my name, I live in this place. The moment you call your name, you say, this is my name, I live in this place. The angel that's working with me goes and get information about you and start telling me, write to this person. I start hearing noises. When the person write to me, say Francis Town, I just say Francis Town. I wrote to this lady, I say, she was telling me, listen, I live in, I don't know what she was saying, she was living in, she was saying she lives somewhere in Cape Town. I told her, you don't live in Cape Town. I see you actually coming from a place. I called the place. I said, I see a place called like Sintane. And so the moment I said that place, she said, she told me, listen, I was born in Sintane. She said, I was born in Sintane. My goodness. This is a modern day prophet. This is a higher level of prophecy. It's called the eyes of the scorpion. The eyes of the scorpion is someone that sees in the dark, meaning that you can close everything around me. You can stay. People in Uganda can write to my prophesy. People writing, I'm telling the streets that are staying in Tanzania. I tell them where they were born in Malawi. I tell them when they were born. I tell them the year of their birth. I told one boy, say, we were born in 1990. I told them where city they moved to. One man was writing to me, and the angel was telling me, write to this man. I was hearing a noise. I said, you move from your. I gave the name of the village, and then you moved to Harare, and then you moved to South Africa. He said, I had businesses in these places. That's what the boy told me. He said, I had businesses. My goodness. So those are my sons are writing. A lot of the sons. I see Sodile, one of my sons. I see Gerard, one of my sons. Andrew, my sons. I see Mabel, one of my daughters. I see Sylvia, one of my daughters. She's based in the US. I see Sabino. I see Gerard. I see Martha. I see Tlatla, one of my daughters based in South Africa. I see George, my goodness, one of my sons based in the US. I see Rowimbo. I see Mary, one of my daughters. She's based in the US. I've got thousands of them write to me. Get that book. Those that have that book, Prophecy, Dreams, and Vision, you automatically become a son or a daughter of the prophet. I provide covering, and to be that is a rare blessing, because not everybody gets that gift. People have written to me. There are thousands of emails that I have now that are written to me, and I don't respond to all. When the angel tells me, that angel that is speaking, I'm hearing that noise that is speaking. When the angel tells me, go and talk to this person, talk to the person. That's why when I talk to the people say, yes, you have met me at the point of need. That's the eye of the scorpion. It's doing something. Now I want to speak about this man, Nicole. Let me tell you something about TB Joshua. And I see a lot of negative videos. People should be careful when you start to criticize prophets of God. Prophets of God have got specific angels that cover them. And the moment you start to criticize the prophets of God, it's very dangerous. So be very careful. So let me start by telling you about the things that are happening. So the gift that he's got is what I called is a specific kind of prophetic that is gifted by something called the holiness of the prophetic. He's got what they call the holiness of the prophetic. So what does that mean, to be holy? To be holy means to be transparent. To be holy, that's what it means, to be transparent. To be transparent, it means that when somebody looks through you, all they see is God. So it means you're like a glass. A holy person is like a glass. It means if you look through you, all they see is God. There was a man that came to one of the sages and he spoke to the sages. He told the sages, listen, he's a very successful man. The man has received several awards, a very intelligent scientist. So he came and met the sage and he told the sage, he says, listen, I'm very successful, pray for me. And the sage asked him, before I pray for you, I want to ask you one question. He asked him, to what do you associate your success to? The sage asked him, to what do you associate success to? And the man said, listen, it's because of my hard work. And the sage asked him, do you think your father and your mother do not have anything to play? That's transparency. Transparency means through you, everybody will see God. Now, there are many wise men. There are 3 wise men I'm going to talk about, but there are many of them. But let me first talk about the first wise man. The wise man Christopher, the wise man Christopher, is actually having his own ministry. So it doesn't mean that he was fired, he had a problem. No, he's having his own ministry, and God is and God is using him for great things. So he has his own ministry, and I'm going to be praying for them. Some of you that are in Nigeria, you know them. I see his ministry in Nigeria, and I can tell you, and I can see great things that are going to happen for that young man, wise man Christopher. And that's what happens. He has left. He's not doing his own thing. Now, why did they leave? I told you. I'm going to tell you why he left, because his anointing has outgrown the ministry. So he could not be carrying that kind of anointing. His anointing outgrew that ministry. So that's why the wise man Christopher is left. He's having his own ministry. You know, you will see, I'll put some of the clips, some of the videos, or some of the pictures. You're going to see his ministry. He's doing well. His ministry is growing. So it's not like there was any fight. There was no fight between him and TB Joshua. There was no problem between him and the ministry. Sometimes your anointing outgrows your ministry, and then you go. So the wise man Christopher, his anointing is growing. The wise man John Chi, he's now in Cameroon, and his anointing is also grown. So he left it because he has been called to do something greater. So it doesn't mean that there was a problem. So people should not always associate somebody living in ministry that there was a fight. I see people write on YouTube that there was a fight. There was no fight. And I see them communicating, the wise men communicating with Prophet TB Joshua. People are saying, why is happening? I say, no, they're still communicating. They're still very close. They're still praying for each other. They're still supporting each other. And I even see them, they even give to the ministry of TB Joshua. So let me tell you that John Chi, I see, I've put some on the feature. You see John Chi's ministry is growing. What John Chi has done is he's almost replicated the SCOAN in Cameroon. So he went to a country called Cameroon, a small country, and replicated the SCOAN. So it's almost like a small SCOAN there happening in Cameroon. The synagogue church, he built a church that's similar to the synagogue church, and I think it's somewhere in a place called Boya in Cameroon. And his ministry is growing, it's expanding, he's doing things. I will show you some of the photos. Now, Wiseman Harry, Wiseman Harry, he's now running the synagogue church in Greece, I think in Thessalonica. So he's there in Thessalonica. He's running a synagogue church there. He's doing well, and it's not like it was a problem. Not that he was sick. So people say maybe he was sick. So people say he was dying, whatever. No, he was not dying. He was not sick. He went there just because he wanted to go there and raise the saints there and grow the ministry. So yeah, his anointing also was not too strong and too powerful that he had to move there. So that's what is happening. And the wise men are seen. Some of you heard about wise men are seen. Is still there, and the other wise man is still there. So the two old wise men are still in the synagogue church of all nation. The one has gone to the synagogue in Thessalonica in Greece. And wise men are still the preacher. I think the other wise man is from a French country. I think he's either from Ivory Coast or from Senegal. I don't know where. I mean, some of you that attend that ministry write to me. I remember I went to TB Joshua ministry like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I visited that ministry 3 or 4 years ago, and I saw very hardworking people in Nigeria. And I was so impressed by Nigerians and their love for God and their passion for God. And if you're in Nigeria and you're from Nigeria, God bless your soul. Nigerians are God-loving people, God-fearing people, and I love Nigerians. I was there one time. I visited once, and I found it very amazing. They praising God, singing, the anointing, everything was happening, and they gave their hearts and their soul to the things that they were doing for God. You find a lot of young people in that church. I was there in that church, and they were doing great things. Now, those of you who want to write to me. Those of you that want to sow your 2020 seed, you can sow your 2020 seed. I'm taking that seed to the mountain. I'll be praying for you. That's the mountain. I'll be crying to my God. I say, God, answer this man's prayer. Answer. 2020 seed is 2,020 rand. It's $220. It's 220 pounds. When you give your 2020 seed, you write your list of what you want. You put your family name, your name, whoever you want to pray for. I will take that seed to the mountain, and I will cry to my God. I've received lots of people that have sold that 2020 seed, hundreds of people that have sold that 2020 seed, and I'm listening. Let me tell you something. God is going to move this year than never before. This 2020, your life is going to be protected. Your soul is going to be protected. Hallelujah.